Hello, welcome to another edition, a really quick one, of Sun Dragon Tips and Tricks. I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in downtown Brevard, North Carolina. I'm doing this because I just filmed my morning meditation. Here's my little mug. It is Friday. It's not a usual day for a tips and tricks video. I'm getting ready before I go to Sun Dragon Art and Fiber. I'm still waking up, so I'm trying to see if I said that or not already. I wanted to do a really quick video because for morning meditation this morning, that's a thing I do over on Instagram. I film a few minutes every morning. I just started my sewn bind off on my pressed flowers shawl. And the last video I did was about sewing together the cowl, which is after the sewn bind off. I want to do a video on the sewn bind off, so I'm trying to do film for one really fast before the day starts today. So in hopes I can edit it over the next day or so and put it out for y'all. Because I really want to finish this shawl and maybe even have it blocked before the yarn crawl next week. If you're in the North Carolina area, Western North Carolina, May 9th through 13th is our yarn crawl where all the shops, there's 10 of them in Western North Carolina, will be having all kinds of fun things. We'll be having giveaways. Some people will be having discounts and sales and special items and all this kind of stuff. And that means it's probably unlikely I'm going to be filming on Monday morning because we'll be in the final crashing prep for it or resting up for it or who knows what. So I'm going to try to film a few minutes of how I'm doing this sewn bind off, which can, if you do it loosely, if you don't pull super tight on it, can be really stretchy, not a lot of bulk. So it's good for blocking it later. I will say for such a long bind off on this shawl, I've got a really long piece of yarn that I'm sewing with right now. You don't have to have your yarn be this long, but you'll have to end and start and have ends to weave in. So let's get to it. So I'm already a considerable way into my bind off. I mean, I say considerable, I have a lot left to do. But even though I've already started, you're going to start with your first two stitches down at the end, the same way I'm about to go into the next two on my needle. The sewn bind off, it takes a long time, and it's done with a blunt tipped sewing needle, tapestry needle, they're sometimes called. And one of the benefits of it is there's not much bulk on the edge, and it can be really stretchy for when you're blocking, especially if you don't pull super tight. If you want to do it with one strand of yarn, like I've got a ton of yarn here, right, which can get tangled if you're not careful. You got to be really gentle pulling on it. The other way, because I have tons of stitches to bind off on the edge of this shawl. The other way to do it is you can use shorter pieces, but you might have to use more of them and then have ends to weave in later. So the first step to a sewn bind off is to go purlwise under your first two stitches. And by purlwise, we mean how you would stick the needle in. We have knitwise and we have purlwise. It's like, think about your sewing needle like a knitting needle. So put it under two stitches purlwise and pull through. And I'm going to do this slowly and gently with my big amount of yarn. It went through without needing to be untangled. That will sometimes happen. But I'm not pulling it super tight there. I'm just kind of snugly pulling it so it's comfortable. Then you're going to go back to the first stitch, the one closest to the edge of the needle. You're going to go in knitwise. And again, pull through. And I'm going to do it nice and slow and gentle. So hopefully my yarn doesn't tangle. And I'm not going to pull super tight. I'm just snugging it up. That first stitch that's now had two things happen to it, I can take off my needle. That's it. I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to go into my first two stitches, purlwise, gently, gently pull. Until it's snug. We can always give it a tug, just make sure we're not too tight. Then go back through my first stitch, the one closest to the tip of the needle, knitwise. And once that's all set, I will take him off my needle. First 2 stitches purlwise. Stitch closest to the end of the needle, knitwise. Here's an example of my yarn got a little kinked up. I'm going to pull on it gently to see if I can untangle. Awesome. If it doesn't happen, sometimes you actually do need to take a knot out, but if it has gotten tangled, here, first let me just say I finished with this, so I'm going to take that stitch off. If it gets tangled, it's usually as kind of a slip knot, something funky where you won't have to do too many crazy things to get it untangled. Now, if you ever have to put this down and you're like, wait, where am I in my bind off? Because I'm not going to sit here and finish this. I'm going to go to work. If your yarn is just hanging out like this, sometimes you can go and look and say, oh, look, it's going under this last stitch I just took off. That means you're ready to start your whole repeat again with going under 2 stitches purlwise. And gently pull through. Untangle if you need to. I find the fewer pulls you can have, so longer pulls like this instead of short, will lead to it being less tangled. Now, if I put this down and picked it up later, notice where my working yarn is. My yarn is inside these 2 stitches. It's not out on the edge, unconnected to any stitch on the needle for the moment. It's in here, 2 stitches in. That means I've done step 1. I haven't done step 2. Go into this stitch closest to the needle knitwise, a single stitch, and pull through. And this is another time you could put it down and pick it up and go, wait, where am I? This yarn, if I tug on it, I can see it's connected back here and it's going under this stitch, which means I haven't taken this one off yet. So again, to review the 3 steps, step 1 is to go under 2 stitches purlwise and pull your yarn through. Step 2 is to go under the first stitch, the one closest to the tip of your needle, knitwise, and pull through. And step 3 is to take that last stitch, which 2 things have been done to now, and take it off your needle. I have a lot more of these to go. Check out all these stitches. But I'm just going to keep repeating that. What will happen at the end, you'll go through 2 and go through 1 and take it off. You only have 1 stitch left. When you have 1 stitch left on your needle, you're going to start your repeat, but you'll only have 1 stitch to go under purlwise. And that will be, you go under purlwise and then just take that guy off. That's it. It's an incomplete repeat at the very end, but that really just takes the last one down and secures it. So that was my super fast video on doing the sewn bind off. And by fast, I mean just not long video. I tried not to do it too quickly, but I have a whole lot more of this shawl to go before I am done binding off. But just in case I didn't have time next week, I wanted to make sure y'all had a video on how to do this. So if you're doing the pressed flowers make along, that is awesome. I have done the hat and the cowl now. I have not blocked my cowl yet still. I'm about to bind off and finish this guy. I'll try to show him to you later. It might be over on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. I'm still working on the cardigan. I would like to do a video on the pressed flowers garter, mosaic, and the round. I don't know if I'll be able to do that until I get to the sleeves of my cardigan, and that's a little ways away. And the yarn crawl is coming up next week, and that takes all of our energy 24/7 for about a week. So I will get to that video when I can. If you are working on the hat or the sleeves of the cardigan or the pullover at this point, that's in the round too. I hope y'all can have some patience with me on that. Trying to do a lot of things at once right now. But if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing. Our numbers keep going up, and that's fantastic. It is free to subscribe. You can hit the bell for alerts. You can find out when new things are happening on this channel. If you would like to monetarily support the work we do here, it is by no means necessary, but it's always appreciated. You can give us a super thanks on a video you really like. That's kind of like giving us a tip. You can become a member here, or you can go to patreon.com/sundragon. Either place you can do a monthly membership, and you'll get your name in the credits after our videos. So thank you all so much for watching. Anything you can do, giving us just a thumbs up, a comment, all of it is appreciated and read and responded to when I get time. And we love our Sun Dragon community. We think you guys are awesome. So as I always like to say when I end, may your crafting be filled with joy and confidence. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.